60 to 65 miles per hour.
And you could see just in the last hour, Jared was kind of putting you back in time until now. You could see all the deeper blue, the deeper reds here showing up, and even the pinks showing up on the map. So this is an indication that this line is really strengthening. Lots of heavy rain and I should say winds, wind gusts maybe to 60 to 70 miles per hour. So going up here further to the north, pretty much southern Indiana right now, you're good to go. But here in Metro Louisville, pretty much looking at lots of heavy rainfall. Clarksville, back over to Jeffersonville, New Albany, extending down towards Shively, Fairdale. You're pretty much in the path of the storm right now. If you're in your house, you're wondering what is going on. We pretty much still have a severe thunderstorm warning for this batch of storms moving through your area right now. And that severe thunderstorm warning, guys, what time does that go till for the Metro?
Well, we'll put it on and find out here for you, Kristen, just a second.
There we go, 6:05. So we still have another 15 minutes or so left on the severe thunderstorm warning for downtown Metro Louisville. But I do suspect a lot of the activity should be pushing out of here in the next 10 minutes or so. But flash flooding will continue to be a concern, I think, in downtown and even across Jefferson County over the next several hours until we start to dry things out.
And we are getting more storm reports. This new one out of Hardin County for power lines down, some power poles down. So that was the area that with the 50-mile-per-hour winds, and as we've been showing you, there's some winds upwards of 60 to 65 miles per hour. So that's what these storms are capable of doing, trees, power lines, and as we've mentioned, the ground is just so saturated. We've got another couple of storm reports here. Clark County has had almost 5 inches of rain since 7 a.m. and Oldham County almost 4 inches of rain since 7 a.m.
Take a look at these rainfall rates, anywhere between 1, maybe up to 3 inches of rain per hour. So this is why we have that flash flood warning in effect for lots of the viewing area. And you have to remember, just a couple days ago, on Thursday and Friday of last week, we still had lots of rainfall. So the soil can't really take much more rain across the area. Here's what we're looking at in downtown Metro. Rainfall rates of over 3 inches per hour. So the deeper shades of the purples and the reds here showing up, that's pretty much an indication of the highest rainfall rates across the area. Would not be surprised to see these rainfall rates maybe 3 to 4 inches per hour as this system moves through. We have a lot of moisture out there in the atmosphere. These dew point numbers have been climbing up into the low to mid 60s around the area. So this has really fueled these showers and storms that are firing up around the area. So pretty much a lot of the area looking at some rainfall, lots of just plain rainfall across southern Indiana. But where we have our main concern right now for pretty much downtown Metro and extends along I-65. Here's a look at some of our storm reports that we have around the area. These icons that you see here pretty much looks like a boat in the water. This is where we've had reports of some flooding going on around the area, and this is where we have the flash flood warnings also in effect until about 7 or 7:30 across Metro Louisville. This is to look at some of the rainfall rates, and this is actually a hail report. If you guys can click on that here, just south of the Corydon area, to see what kind of hail report that we had there across southern sections of Harrison County. So not only did we have rain, we're seeing rainfall, some heavier rainfall rates with this, but we're also looking at some hail reports within this line as it does continue to move on through. So this is actually a look at your 6-hour rainfall total around the area, and pretty much southern Indiana has been getting hit hard. This morning, this is where we've had a lot of the heavier rainfall, and now we're tacking on even more rainfall around Kentuckiana.
And
so,
Kristen, in those spots that we've been talking about in Charlestown, there have been reports of flooding of cars in those areas, and we've talked about just how dangerous.
I saw it firsthand. Yes, it is happening.
Just how dangerous it is to try to travel through these roads. You are not going to win versus a flooded road.
You really won't. No. I mean, for a person, 6 inches can knock you off your feet. Just 2 feet of rapidly moving water can just sweep away your car. So this is not safe to pretty much be driving. If you see that water, if you see flooding out there on the roadways, just turn around. A safe bet to take an alternate route. And if you're inside your house right now, you're considering maybe to run errands, I would give it another half an hour to an hour before these storms move on through. Just not a safe bet to be out and about. Now, we're not talking about any more tornado warnings across the area, but we still have these severe thunderstorm warnings that continue to move off to the east. So here's what we're watching again right now on Max HD radar. We pretty much have along and south of I-64. This is where we have most of the activity going on right now. Switching it back over, let's look at the warnings again that we have around the area. Pretty much downtown Metro Louisville. This does include portions of Spencer County, Nelson County, all the way down through LaRue County. LaRue County, your warning goes until about 6 o'clock. So wouldn't be surprised to see again maybe some more heavy rainfall with this. So some wind gusts maybe up to about 50 to 60 miles per hour, as we talked about. We've had a wind gust of up to about 58 miles per hour being reported with this line as it does move off to the east. Now, it's starting to gain some strength or gaining some forward speed with this. It is moving a little bit faster, which is good because we want to get the rainfall out of here. So this is moving at right around 45 miles per hour, and it does look like we just got a new warning. This is actually for, what, Washington County?
Looks like LaRue, Marion, Nelson, and
Washington. Okay.
And, you know, one thing I really want to
These
take a
counties,
look
sorry.
at, Kristen, is if we go back over here and take a look at the radar. I've got my microphone on. Let's see, are we there now? We should be. I don't have IFBN, so I'm not sure if people can hear me. Can everybody hear me?
I think you're good.
Okay, all right, let's go back to radar for a second here, and I'd like to step in the wall and take a look at this storm that was just warned for a severe thunderstorm warning across parts of Kentucky. This is Nelson County and LaRue County, and there is a notch showing up, and what I'm talking about in the velocity field is this rotation that continues to kind of wax and wane, strengthen and weaken from time to time, and Brian Shaw is manning the radar here, and we're also looking at this storm from multiple different radars, and you can see right here across parts of New Haven, right on the LaRue-Nelson County line, we have got some winds that are going away from the radar around 60 miles an hour or so, and then notching back in, we have these winds coming back toward the radar site, much weaker, but the bottom line is when you add the two, that's when you get your total wind shear, and it looks like, you know, 65 to 70 miles an hour of wind shear showing up in this storm between New Haven and Bardstown on US 31E, which is well toward the east of I-65. Brian, let's put a track on that. And you're already on it. We're going to go off toward the east-northeast at around 35 to 45 miles an hour with this thunderstorm. And again, you can see it really catches your eye, that shade of bright red and pink there. This is going to head off toward the east for areas like Culvertown, Loretto, Bear Wallow, Springfield, and Texas, Kentucky over the next half hour or so. And keep in mind, even if you're not in this exact track, as a matter of fact, I think it's a good idea to go ahead and track the entire line from Bardstown all the way down just to the south and east of Sonora as well, because there is a greater area that's going to have a wind damage threat by the time all is said and done right through our southeastern counties. Now, keep in mind, we have this severe thunderstorm warning in the metro. We're not tracking that storm right now. We're going to get back to the metro in a second. We're tracking storms south and east of the city. Bardstown, Taylorsville, St. Mary, Lebanon, and Willisburg over the next half hour. These storms heading in your direction with gusty winds. Back toward the metro. And again, these thunderstorms continue to pack a lot of heavy rain. We've not been talking a lot about a severe threat in the metro. We have a warning for the metro for severe wind gusts and hail, but not a lot of reports of wind. I think part of the thing that's saving us here in the city, as I was coming into the building, our temperature had dropped precipitously down into the mid-60s as we got some rain-cooled air from the storms across Indiana. As you could see, they just got a ton of rain just north of the river, 3 to 4 inches.
We have some video out of
Okay.
We're going to go to that video and show you some of the flooding in those areas. And while we are doing that, also wanted to let everybody know that if you're in Palmyra, that spot has got a report of some flash flooding of streams and creeks out of their banks. So you need to stay away from any water-covered roads in those areas. This is exactly what we're talking about. You never know how deep that is, and you're going to want to try and cross that. You need to get home, you need to get somewhere, but you can't.
And that's, put me back at the key wall if you can. And I just want to point out, if we can go back to that, that's Highway 3 at Highway 62. And I was just there about 45 minutes ago, and I made it, actually, can we get back on the key wall here real quick? I made it to that street light, actually, in my car before I had to turn around. That's how quickly this water increased in depth in that area. And that's no car right there, folks. That's a full-size pickup, looks like, that's almost completely submerged. You can tell they had to be rescued because the doors are open. And thank goodness they got out, because the pressure and the force of the water is so much more than air that sometimes you can't get those doors open when you have that water outside of your vehicle. So no doubt a very dangerous situation in parts of southern Indiana, just northeast of the metro by about 10 miles or so. Let's get back over to the radar and show you exactly where we're at right now with this thunderstorm. We'll step back in the wall here and track this activity for you. Now, the good news in Clark County, it's still raining. but it's not raining nearly as hard as it was in the last 20 to 30 minutes. And you can see it's really pouring down rain off toward the south and southeast of us. And as these thunderstorms move east and south of the city, that threat is certainly going to continue, with strong and severe storms passing from Spencer County through Nelson County into LaRue County and points off toward the south and east. We're tracking that for you at around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Summersville, Frankfort, Campbellsville, and Versailles over the next half hour. These storms heading in your direction. We'll reset. Look at the warnings really quick for you.